So this is what we would like to do, to write the following: a comparison superclass that declares an abstract method called compare2numbers. This method should have two integer parameters. So let's just do it one step at a time. Actually, I have already the code. Let's just show the code and discuss that. So we wanted to have a class that is having an abstract method, and because the class has an abstract method, it should be abstract, because we said that if in one class there is one abstract method, the whole class has to be abstract. And remember, there's a distinction between an abstract class. It doesn't mean that it has to have at least one abstract method. The opposite is true. If a class has at least one abstract method, the class is abstract. But if a class is abstract, it doesn't have to have at least one abstract method. I can have an abstract class because I just mention something and I do whatever, and then it returns whatever. It doesn't return anything, just do something, whatever. So this is still an abstract class. It doesn't have any abstract methods. So that's what I would like you to distinguish. An abstract class does not mean it has to have an abstract method, but it may have an abstract method. But if there is an abstract method, then of course the class is abstract. So this is the comparison that has this method, compare2numbers, which is an abstract method. This method should have two integer parameters, so we have this int a and b, or int n1 or n2, doesn't matter. Just whatever you put here doesn't matter at all. If I use n1 and n2, it doesn't mean that when I'm going to be here it has to be n1 and n2. When I'm implementing it, it doesn't mean that it has to be the same name. I'm just saying the same name for the method, but for the parameters, it doesn't have to do. It just says that there are two parameters. That's it. And these are their type and these are their order. Okay, the second bullet is about a subclass of comparison called numbers comparison. So this is the one, numbers comparison. So that class defines the method compare2numbers. So in that class we have this compare2numbers, and then we put the code that shows that does something. So if they're equal, it shows they're equal. If they're not, it shows they're not equal. From this method should take two integers and should print the message equals and not equal otherwise. This class should also declare an abstract method called calculateArea. Okay, so because we have an abstract method, it has to be abstract as well. So it extends comparison, but it's also abstract. So we have like an abstract class extending another abstract class. Thus, there is nothing that prevents this from happening. And we have calculateArea that calculates the area of a this class should also declare an abstract method called calculateArea that calculates the area of a circle. Well, we need to have this circle later. This is not really well formulated because it might be confusing. So it will calculate the area of a circle, but we don't have the circle here because it's an abstract method. So there's no code in that method. A subclass of this is called circleArea. So this is another subclass of this numbers comparison. I have this circleArea. This is extending numbers comparison, which extends the comparison. So I'm going to be having the calculateArea, which does this calculation. And I have added the fundamental calculator from numbers class, and then we need to, in order for us to calculate the area of a circle, of course we need a radius. It wasn't mentioned here, so that's why I said this is not really clear. But it implies that if you need to calculate the area of a circle, then you have to have a radius of that circle. So that's why I added this and had a constructor that initializes the radius, and then I have calculate area. Because it doesn't take any arguments, I cannot just not use radius somehow. And then I have just a getter and setter for this radius. So that's what this is all about. And then an application called comparing app. So this is the comparing app. In that comparing app, I'm just having the main, and the main I am just using the methods compare two numbers and calculate area. So I'm using this to initialize a new circle of radius 1, and I'm using the calculate area here. So it's going to display pi multiplied by 1 multiplied by 1, which is pi, and then compare two numbers, it should display they are equal. Numbers are equal. So if I run this, so this is the area, and numbers are equal. So I'm using these two methods from here. So this is coming from the superclass of circle area. No, it's coming from the circle area, because the superclass doesn't have any implementation. And this is coming from the superclass of the class area, which is numbers comparison. Well, this simple exercise is just to have some kind of hierarchy of abstract classes. Okay, so where did you get stuck? Where did you have problems? Which class? Numbers comparison? So what was the problem that prevented you from finishing quickly this exercise?
In the last class.
In the last class,
Yes.
circle area.
It did not declare the
Radius.
yes. That was my problem.
So you had to find that there's a radius that needs to be declared. So this radius had to be declared because calculate area that I have to implement, because I'm inheriting it from here. It doesn't have any argument. So I cannot have some calculate area which, if you give me some radius and then I work with it, then it's not going to be overriding this, and it's going to tell you, well, this circle area is still not implementing the calculate area from the superclass, because that calculate area does not take any argument. So you still have to have this calculate area without arguments. So since you need this calculate area without arguments, then you have to find a way to get the arguments, and one way is just to put this variable there. There's a difference of this kind of question when you have to do something and then it doesn't mention all the details. Then you have to find out what's missing and then add it, as compared to this exercise where I gave you the class diagram. When I give you the class diagram, I give you all the details. You should just implement it as is. Don't add anything, don't remove anything. Okay.